I've always wanted a European life, and I have had it in many ways. I've spent a lot of time in Paris, in Rome, in Athens. I've lived in London on and off, and I was always counting my tourist visa days until finally I was able to move to Europe full time. And the country that I came to live in was not a country I had ever even visited. I honestly didn't even look at it on the map. Belgium, 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 Belgium. I moved to Belgium. I moved to Belgium. And that's the irony of life, isn't it? Before we get into the video, I just want to say moving abroad is one of those rare things in life that will test every single bit of your character. I came here, learned what I had to learn, met who I needed to meet. It will be difficult. You will struggle to make friends, to find opportunities, and to feel confident in your own speech because you most likely will need to learn a new language. And when you do learn a language, it's going to be the highway into the culture, into the relationships, into the job opportunities. Except learning a language is freaking hard, which is why you need to find a great accountability partner and a great tutor. I use Preply.com. They have tutors that represent over 50 languages all over the world. You could choose a tutor based on the country that they live in, so you get the dialect that you're looking for, based on the price range you're comfortable with paying, and based on your schedule. This is one-on-one tutoring, which means that the learning will be tailored to you and how you learn. You get to meet someone cool around the world, and you show up. Whether it's 25 minutes or 55-minute lessons, Preply has been the backbone of my language learning to make sure that I'm not locking in mistakes if I'm only self-studying. If you're ready to start speaking that language, click in the description box below and get 50% off your first trial lesson on Preply. I just signed up for my Welsh classes because I'm going to Wales, and I'm so shocked because every time I'm like, dang, these people are cool. It makes me even more excited about learning a language because when there's a human being on the other side of the screen that is from that place, it gives me more context and motivation. Comment what language are you learning below. Now back to the video. I have been living as an outsider in cultures since I could remember. As a 5-year-old, I moved from Brazil to the US and grew up in the States, had to learn English, the whole coming to America story. I decided that instead of it being a problem that I never fit in, because it does feel like a problem, especially as a kid trying to fit in, I would turn it into my superpower and become an in-betweener and kind of be a chameleon, you know, go between different cultures. And I wanted to do that in as many different cultures as humanly possible. Moved to New York City, chose my university because there were flags in the foyer, and I decided this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna live an international life. And I really believed that I was gonna live it in a traditional way. Lo and behold, the internet comes out with social media, and then everything changed. I started posting videos on YouTube, and this YouTube channel allowed me to not only learn languages, practice them on videos, but also travel the world and start making travel content abroad. COVID hits, I end up moving back to a town around where my family is because I'm like, hey, you know, this is ridiculous. If the world's ending, I might as well go near my family. And I knew it wasn't permanent. Once you learn something, you can't unlearn it, you know? Like, I had just become a combination of so many different things that living in a monolingual, monocultural place didn't fit with me anymore. So I started looking around different places. I loved London, tried to get a visa there, declined. And you know, since my visa got denied, sky's the limit. And that's what's exciting. I decided when I was 32 that I would live full-time in a small little European country, but it is the heart of Europe, Belgium.
I can't believe it. It's like literally the beginning of the rest of my life is how it feels.
It is a multilingual and multicultural type of a place, so I get my fix of speaking different languages. When I first moved, there were some things that immediately grinded my gears, like everything closed at 5 p.m. Sundays, you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't shop. You couldn't do anything. You could just go out to restaurants. Things were very slow in comparison to what I was used to in the US.
As I thought. Chers clients, nous sommes complets. Merci de votre compréhension. Bonne journée.
You know, they say culture shock at first is very frustrating and you get angry because you're like, man, this isn't how I'm used to it. I felt all of those feelings, and it was very suffocating because it felt like no one understood, like, why can't I do this on a Sunday? Why do I have to wait until 9 a.m. when the store opens? Like, why is there no convenience? But those are surface level issues. Then it came to the friendships, which were also very tough because in the US or even in Brazil, there are open cultures where everybody's gonna welcome you into their families, into their lives. In a Belgian mindset, there are some warm and lovely people that are warm right away, but majority of people already have their social networks built. And so it's harder to get into those social networks. But the coolest thing happens after you consistently reach out to people after a year of a of being there, of trying. People defrost. There's even a Dutch word here, ontdooien, which is to defrost, and they use it in friendship context, like the mensen moeten ontdooien. It made me change how I see friendships. You have to schedule your appointments. You have to plan dinners 2 weeks in advance. And as a Latin, a Brazilian person, that is not what I'm used to. Even with the quantities of food, tell me how, if I'm hosting a party, I'm gonna have 10 times the quantity of food, and here, no. You don't do that. You have just enough food for whoever's coming. You don't have extra because you don't want food waste. Composting. People compost here. It's basic as hell, and I'm used to it now, but in the US, who's composting? Which is also crazy to me now that I do compost. I'm like, why are we not composting? It's pretty damn easy. I ride a bike everywhere now, rain or shine, it doesn't matter. I'm going to put on my fluovisje, my helmet, my regenbroek, and I'm out on the streets with my bike. Regenbroek. Oh my God. Who knew moving abroad for love was so unglamorous? Just another day in paradise. That's what I'm telling you, rain or shine, baby, I'm on this bike. People in their 60s, 70s are biking around. It's not something that's only for young people. It's just the culture to be outside, to be one with your bike and nature. And it is simply the way the world works here in Flanders. Another thing is the community feeling. Because you're on your bike, because you're walking a lot, you see the same people over and over again if you live in the same street. And so over time, the neighbors begin to be a part of your commute, and you feel this weird safety of just knowing that they know you and you know them. You go to the same stores to get your flowers or to get your fruits and to go shopping for your clothes. It's not this big box existence like you go into a strip mall in the US where you have total anonymity. In many ways, I feel very fortunate because here in Antwerp, how I live, I have this old school community-esque energy. And yet, if I want to travel, I can get on a train and in 2 hours be in a country that has a different language, different culture, and everything is different. The values here are different as well. The values of sitting and drinking coffee for various hours and taking holiday not because you can, but because it's basically mandatory that you take your holidays. Not being bothered on weekends. No one's sending emails after hours. No one's sending emails on the weekends expecting you to respond. There is no, can we get this before Monday 9 a.m. on a Friday night at 6 p.m. People don't do that in examples that I have seen. The concept of rest here, completely different than the concept of rest in the US and even in other countries. Everyone takes the day off, no one goes to work, and everybody's here on a random Wednesday. This is not a holiday, and they're out here. Not to say that people don't work hard here, it's just like you clock out. You clock out and you have time for other things, which brings me to the next topic. Adult extracurricular activities, huge over here. And even for me, part of a run club, did ceramics. Nice. Boy. What a concept, being an adult learner. Not for profession, but for hobby. It is crazy how they make it affordable here. I don't want to paint the picture that everything is perfect here because there's always room for improvement. And of course, this is not everybody's existence, but vast majority of society here, in Belgium specifically, is built to help the average person. And it is shocking as an American who was an immigrant, it's shocking that people here have basic quality of life guaranteed. Creates other things in society as well, where you don't have to fight to be the best. And in fact, in many ways, being the best is not a good thing, because if everybody's good, why are you striving to get more? Having lived in Belgium and continuing to love living here, I also miss certain things about my life in the US. I miss the entrepreneurial spirit. It's crazy that you can literally become an entrepreneur and change your life financially and create generational wealth in the US because it's encouraged, but it's also encouraged to be the best. And that means that some people will not thrive, and that is just the way that the society there works. It's just crazy. What is crazy about this whole concept of living abroad is that your normal is your normal because that's your lived experience. You pluck yourself out of your normal, you put yourself in someone else's normal, and you realize quickly your normal is not normal at all, and their normal is not normal at all, but it is for them. And that is perspective, and it is shocking and beautiful and mind-boggling that we all live in our bubbles, created by our existences, created by our societies that are normal to us, but in other contexts are completely not normal. It's like human beings, am I right? There's an insane thing too when you have family values and you live abroad, because you know you will always be far away from your family, and that hurts like hell. And so you have to weigh out what it's worth to you and how can you make it work to be close to your family abroad and also build a new family wherever you live. It's always painful, and I take great comfort in the fact that this is not just my story. This is my story that I've inherited from my mom. And weirdly enough, I feel comforted by the fact that my relatives have felt the same pain of being far away from their families.
Ai, meu Deus! Amor, tudo bem? Que coisas lindas de vó! Oh, meu amor!
Whenever someone moved abroad, the intention was to build something greater for their next generation. That is why people immigrate. If you're in the struggle, you're not alone. The closer you are to learning that language, the closer you are to gaining more trust, to building this network for yourself, and overall just creating that sense of belonging that, while very challenging and very complex and never 100% when you're a foreigner, it does grow. But if you don't ever belong, it just means that you probably have an ability to connect with many people around the world who also don't belong. And in that, there is a sense of belonging. You're an in-betweener just like me. No matter what normal looks like for you, there's always something to be learned, and that is what I want to talk about. What are all of these tools, these different mindsets, these different concepts, ideas that can help us all live a more connected life? So cheers to understanding, or at least trying to understand, to feeling uncomfortable as hell in our journey to understand, to feeling misunderstood but still sticking in there, and to the frustration that is eventually overcome when you push past your own limits.